Welcome, beautiful Paris Saint-Germain family. Yesterday, I asked you guys on Twitter to send me in your best questions for this upcoming Q&A, and here we are to answer your questions. Who would you sell between Barcola, Lee, and Booz, and who would you bring in to replace? I would unfortunately sell Lee, and I would bring in Kvaratskhelia. If you had unlimited budget to sign one player for PSG, who would it be? Between Erling Haaland and Kvaratskhelia. When do you think a Swedish club can win European competition, and who will be that team? I obviously got to back my team, IK. I don't know, man. Money in football in Sweden is not enough. It's not enough to compete against the other nations' clubs. I don't know, 2040. Why is Lucho still experimenting with new lineups in big games, especially Champions League games? What's your ideal XI for a European game, regardless of the opponent's home and away? I think Luis Enrique always wants to be a step ahead. He always wants to think outside of the box. And he shoots himself in the foot more times than he tactically masterclass. There's last season, this season, and it's not just players, lineups, overthinking. It's tactical overthinking as well. So no, he has to stop doing this. But my best XI has to be Donna in goal, Hakimi Nuno, Marquinhos Pacho, Vitinha Neves, Tanguy Lee in midfield, and up in attack, Dembele, Asensio, and Barcola. Bench shall start, Gavi, Neves, Camavinga. Very tough one. I'm going to put Neves first, Gavi second, and Camavinga third. Used to believe PSG would beat the likes of Atletico City and Bayern. I said earlier that PSG would finish now with 14 points. Safe to say PSG might end up worse than that. I don't understand these delusions. This is coming from a Madrid fan. That makes all of it worse. He's saying PSG here, and how do you think you're going to face against Atletico, Bayern, and City? Oh my. City been struggling, Bayern been struggling, Atletico been struggling. Atletico fucking lost 4-0 to Benfica. Stop this disgustingness. But obviously, I'm going confidently in all of those games. Despite our recent form, we'll win them all. Is it a good idea to build a new stadium or stay at the Parc des Princes? I think both ideas are good, but unfortunately, the City Council of Paris and Ana Hidalgo doesn't understand business, doesn't understand economics, doesn't have a rational functioning brain. So that's why we're building a new stadium. Obviously, Paris Saint-Germain have done absolutely everything to stay at the Parc, but there's nothing we can do at the moment. Do you really care about the Club World Cup, and can you understand why many players have no interest to play? Yes, I care a lot about the Club World Cup. It's a new thing. New things are always exciting, and it actually has a lot of prestige. Club World Cup. There it goes. And I also like that it's only once every 4 years. I've seen a lot of players complain on stuff and so on. But I understand the interest in playing these tournaments gets less and less and less and less. I mean, I watched the Nations League. The players barely care in that tournament. I think the Club World Cup will be vastly different. But I do think that FIFA and the governing bodies of football in the world should, if they're going to add high quality games like the Club World Cup, added games into the UCL, remove shitty games. Make every league into a 15 league team. Remove the 5 garbage teams. Do that. Up the quality. Remove the shit. Who's a dream signing for PSG? Kvaratskhelia. I have 2 questions. Did you ever think about quitting YouTube at some point? And 2, are you still confident this season and in Lucho given our recent performances? I've never thought myself of quitting off YouTube. Maybe once when I got 2 strikes on my YouTube channel that affected me a lot because I did nothing wrong and they came. Obviously, me and YouTube fixed it up and everything is solved at this point and moment. But apart from that, sometimes the thoughts in the back of your head when it's not going that well, when the numbers aren't that high, they come up. But I always say, shut up. Shut up. And the thing I like about bad periods are when those thoughts come into your head, that's when I get really motivated and hungry and when I have my best moments. My best moments are always straight after my worst moments. So yeah, it's a mentality test and it makes my mentality stronger. And are you still confident about this season? Yeah, I'm still very confident. I think we have a great squad. I think Luis Enrique is a great manager. We just have to make some adjustments and fix the situation between the players and the coach at the moment. Also, Paulo Fonseca's situation at AC Milan, and who would you want to see replacing him if he gets dismissed? I think the expectations at Milan will always be weird because you're broke, you can barely sign, you're always in some of a transition season. You have players who will leave soon, would want to upgrade, just higher competition and so on. But I think his situation is weird. But if he gets sacked, I think the best option is the former River Plate manager that you guys used to be linked with, the Argentinian guys. But I think who you might get is Allegri. What would be your dream realistic PSG lineup that could potentially win the UCL in the next 5 to 6 years or so? In goal, I think Gianluigi Donnarumma. I don't think there are that many good keepers out there. Right back, Achraf Hakimi. Left back, Nuno Mendes. 2 centre backs. I think Lucas Hernandez, if he comes back to his best, he's a starter I'm very happy with. And next to him, I would like Ibrahima Konate from Liverpool. Up in the midfield, Vitinha and João Neves have to be there. And I think 5 to 6 years, yeah, Warren will have come into his prime and stopped fucking around. So Warren, and up in attack, Ousmane Dembele, Bradley Barcola, and Kvicha Kvaratskhelia. What do you want to achieve in life? Simple. Wife, kids, which becomes family, and living sustainably economically. I don't want to be rich or something. I just want to live. Don't worry that much about it. But I don't want to be rich. Should Lucho extend his contract? I think Lucho at the moment is not worthy of extending his contract. People are like, oh my God, but you saw him last season. Well, that's in the past. That doesn't matter anymore. The present and the future is the most important. Present doesn't look that good. And the future, it's question marks over it. I think if he is extending at the club, the performances, the results, the tactics, and his fucking ego has all to be improved. Thoughts on the development of Japanese football? I'm not that into it. I don't have that much information, but we've seen, Japanese players come up here and there, and we're seeing how Japan is performing at international tournaments. So yeah, it's a great thing for football, and it's a great thing for Japan. Who do we want to buy and sell in winter transfer? I would sell like Skriniar, Kolomani, Zag. Like, this is if the world was a paradise and we could do whatever we want. I know PSG is not going to do anything, and who would I buy? Backup fullbacks and an attacker. What should be done after the international break, and what should be done in January to improve the team overall? I think a meeting should be held between Luis Enrique and the players, because there's a lot of tension at the moment, and he should adjust his tactics. In January, backup fullbacks and an attacker. Any thoughts on Mbappe's time on PSG, purely sporting wise? Mbappe, man. Mbappe. What, 7-8 years, top goal scorer, most goals in the Champions League. The thing is, though, when it comes to the best and biggest players, you will always... I remember all the enjoyment I got from all of his goals and stuff in Ligue 1 and Coupe de France and all of that, but what you take away from the big players is the big games. And Mbappe, for the majority of his big games at PSG, was not helpful. He was not the big man. He was not the man that people thought he was, and he was not the man that he himself thought he was. I still want to be positive for his time at PSG. What is missing in our current squad? I think a high-quality, world-class player in that number 9 position when it comes to the starting 11. And yeah, that's it. Whom you want PSG to sign? Kvicha Kvaratskhelia. Who is the disgusting snake in the locker room? I don't really know what you're talking about. Was Messi the biggest flop of PSG? No, we've had much larger flops at Paris Saint-Germain. But I think in terms of expectations to what actually happened, what we saw, could be one of the biggest. Portugal is top 3 contenders for World Cup 2026. Yeah, I agree so. And I think if Portugal want to win it, they have to not start Ronaldo anymore. He costed you lost Euros, cost the entire team, how it's functional, how it's built a bit. Mbappe at PSG, so yeah, stop starting him. João Neves better than Gavi and Pedri. Again, I think Gavi and Pedri, they're way higher up in their career. They play way many more games at the top level for a top club like Barca. But I like João Neves. And how do you explain paying over 600 million 2 seasons and not having any real depth in the squad? It has a lot to do with the reason we spent the 600 million. It was some of a transition season, players coming in, players going out. But I think the main reason why the squad depth isn't looking amazing is because of how many players we bought that, don't have a future at PSG. Ugarte, 60 million, not even here anymore. Gonçalo, barely a future. Kolomani, no future. So yeah, we have to make more signings that will actually work instead of just making signings for the point of it. Pep come to PSG. I think Pep would love to come to PSG, but at the moment I'm happy enough with Luis Enrique for the moment. So I'm not thinking about anything. We need a proper number 9. I don't think it has to do with 9, false 9. People look too much into the profile. Obviously, Lucho's preference is false 9, so it will be a false 9. I just think we need a higher quality player, and that player is Kvicha Kvaratskhelia. I've always thought Lucho's overrated since he has no major success with that Emerson. His current tenure at PSG keeps proving me right. What do you think of this? Look, we should not put last season just to the side. I think Luis Enrique had a great first season at Paris Saint-Germain in terms of context, in terms of everything that happened at the club, players leaving, players coming in. But obviously, this is the second season, more pressure now. People expect more. No Mbappe to take the pressure off Luis Enrique. So let's see at the end of the season. Then we can make the assumption and see if your opinion is correct. If Lucho gets sacked, who will you replace him with? If he gets sacked, I think the only viable option is Thomas Tuchel. Why do you support PSG? 3 reasons. My favorite player, Zlatan Ibrahimovic, joined PSG in 2012. I have family. I've been to Paris many times, and it was a unique club to support back then. Relationship life. Just vibing. Yamalo Endrick, Yamalo Arda Güler, Yamalo Barcola. Yamal better than Endrick. Yamal better than Arda Güler. I like Arda Güler a lot. I just think he has to play more. Madrid was a bad option for him. Yamal or Barcola? Barcola. Prefer Barca or Madrid winning La Liga because Mbappe went to Madrid. Vamos Barca. Worst PSG player of all time? Gotta be Gregor Krychowiak because he wasn't just, a rotation player that was bad like many others. No, he actually started big games and he costed us. Is Vinny deserved Ballon d'Or winner for you? Yeah, I think so. I just don't like the Ballon d'Or continuing until the 28th of October. And we're seeing this season and Vinny isn't performing at the high level he did last season. So I think he should just be given in the beginning of the season. But yeah, he is. I admit Arsenal are actually good. No, Arsenal were very similar as I expected them. As I mentioned in the review, it was more, I didn't expect us to be that bad. I mean, you had 0.7 XG and the 2 goals that you get was 2 individual mistakes. I'm not taking any prop away from you. You pressed well, you defended well. It was like a marathon for you guys. But footballing wise, no, very mid. Why is PSG the greatest club in the world? Why isn't PSG the greatest club in the world? Amazing fans, amazing stadium, amazing football players, amazing football we play, amazing players throughout its history. The only thing we have to improve on and, start becoming serious about is European pedigree. Is Cole Palmer the face of the Premier League? Not yet. I think Erling Haaland and Mohamed Salah are ahead of him, but he's third in my opinion. Why do you hate Mbappe but not Neymar, who came drunk to training, was busy fucking his sister when the most important games took place? You're a disgrace to my beautiful club. You see, it's these kind of comments I can't take seriously because he's trying to ask me a serious question why I hate Mbappe more than Neymar. And then he says, busy fucking his sister and all of this. Purely shows that you have an agenda against Neymar and that's why you hate him. Whenever I hate an Mbappe, I don't use agenda. I don't lie. I don't make up stuff. I don't over-exaggerate. I just say how it is. That's just how disgusting Mbappe is. That I don't have to over-exaggerate or lie to show he's a disgusting human being and what he's done at this club. Am I saying Neymar is a saint? Absolutely no. Especially when he wanted to leave 2 years after, I was heated. But how they left the club, completely different. Mbappe is a disgusting rat. Stop comparing them, please. I hate when people put them together. Mbappe is the biggest rat in this club's history. Stop this. Best front three this season? I mean, if we're going strictly from one team, it has to be Leva, Rafinha, Yamal from Barca. If you're doing it front three of any team, like mixed players, I think either Leva or Haaland has been the best 9. I'm going to pick Leva because he's doing a UCL and be better international break, I think, as well. And he was less expected. I mean, he's much older as well. I'm going to put Ousmane Dembele. Left wing. I think Yamal has been better than Rafinha, so I would do Yamal, Dembele, Lewandowski. Do you think when Due his good form and mature more that he will become a starter for Luis Enrique in the left wing spar midfield? Yeah, I think so. I think when it comes in terms of his talent, his profile, his potential quality, he could definitely be a starter for PSG. I see him either as a false 9 or as an offensive 8. I see him centrally. I don't think he's that good of a winger. Plus, he will be competing with Barcola, which will never work for him. So yeah, is Pedro top 5 midfielder in the world right now? Yes, sir. Top 3 clubs you're most impressed by this season so far. First one has to be Juventus, my dark horse. Thiago Motta, my boy. Then we go to Bundesliga. I think RB Leipzig, once again, strong side, keeping players, buying new players, and just, doing what they've always been doing. And my third side has to be AS Monaco. They have been really good, sitting top of Liga at the moment and beating Barca. So yeah, props to these 3 teams. What do you think of FC Barcelona right now and how far can they go in the Champions League? I think FC Barcelona are playing great football. I think Barcelona are playing what Flick wants them to play. There is a huge difference between this season and last season. But with the 2 biggest games of their season coming up, the El Clasico at the Santiago and a game versus Bayern München, a team that they have struggled against a lot in recent games in the UCL, I think that's when we get a great picture of how far Flick has come with this Barca side so far and how far they can go in the UCL, quarter, semi, somewhere there. Who's your favorite musician ever? I don't know. It's not like a name pops up into my head or something. I don't know. Haval. Prediction for Barca Bayern? Barca 3-2. Are you married, brother? Unfortunately, not yet. What's your goal in life? Answered it before. Very simple. Wife, kids, become family. And enough money. Don't want to be rich, just enough. Do you prefer between Barca and Madrid? I know you hate both, but pick one or say which one you hate more. Because Mbappe joined Madrid, it's Madrid. How do you end up in Sweden? Do you face racism? I ended up in Sweden because I was born here. My dad came to Sweden in like the 90s with my mom, and then I was born. So I've been born and lived my most life in Sweden. Do I face racism? Not really. I mean, it's been like some occasions here and there, but I don't take it seriously. Why do you think that PSG is the best club in the world? We have the best players in the world. Liverpool, PSG combined 11. In goal, Alisson Becker. Right back, Achraf Hakimi. Left back, Nuno Mendes. 2 centre-backs, Van Dijk, Konate. 3-man midfield, Vitinha, João Neves, McAllister. And up in attack, Dembele, Mohamed Salah, Bradley Barcola. Dream signing for PSG, Kvicha Kvaratskhelia. Why do you hate Mbappe? I've answered this countless of times. He's pissed and disrespected my clubs multiple times, and he's lied to the fan base and to the club multiple times. How did you become a PSG fan as someone who lives in Sweden, and for how long have you been a PSG fan? I've been a PSG fan since 2012, and my favorite player, Zlatan Ibrahimovic, another Swedish guy, joined the club in 2012. I have a lot of family, and I've been to Paris many times, and it was a unique club with everyone supporting a Spanish, Italian, or English club back then. Would you like Prime CR7 or Prime Ibrahimovic? Prime CR7. Favorite retro kit? Probably the Algeria kit where we beat Germany at a World Cup 2-1 in the 70s, I think, or 80s. What went wrong with this team? The World Cup negatively affected this team a lot. Squad depth was very bad this season. Like when Messi got injured, it was Soler who came in. Mbappe got injured, Ekitike came in. Neymar got injured, Sarabia came in. And then it was Galtier also. He wasn't that good of a manager and not that experienced at all. I mean, he managed pretty much the first UCL games with PSG. So when it was going good, he looked good. When it was going bad, he couldn't handle it. Does Vinicius really deserve the Ballon d'Or? Unfortunately, yes. Would you say Koundé top 3 in the world? Yeah, I think Koundé is definitely top 3 right back in the world. Has been there for over a year now. Why is Mbappe finished? Please go in depth so badly, and are Yamal and Haaland the best players in the world? I think Yamal and Haaland amongst Dembele, Levan, and some other players are the best players in the world, yeah. And Mbappe finished. Mbappe's finished mostly because of mental reasons. I don't think he has the motivation and hunger as he used to have before. I think his World Cup achievements have made him very, I don't know, half content with his footballing career so far. And I also think, I mean, when he decided to stay at PSG because of money and power instead of going to Madrid, which he wanted for sporting reasons, that's when he told the world, I'm a disgusting money whore. Opinion on Doué, how you feel about the Bayern game? Doué came in as an 18-year-old, talented but very unexperienced player, and that's what he's been at PSG. We can see the talent in some pictures and videos here and there, but consistency, the quality isn't there yet, but it will come with time. And about the Bayern game, very excited. Kompany, Lucho, both possession managers, both want to dominate the game, both play high line. So I think that could be legit the best game of the group stages. Well, that's been it from the Q&A. If you want to ask me any questions for the next Q&A, make sure to be following me on Twitter, where I will post whenever I'll have a Q&A. That's been it from boy PSGINT, and as usual, allez, Paris.